got Aero out at the park. I wanted somebody to ask how's he doing, and I told you that my response was that he's kind of slid back. I went to do that bomb work, and I came back that night, and he came out of the kennel. He was pretty aggressive as far as dominant, showing a lot of dominant behavior. He came out of the kennel, went and did his thing, and came in and put his arms up on my shoulder, growled, went back into the kennel, went off on me real heavy, trying to basically slip back into the same behaviors. And that's what's going on. This dog has behaviors that are really set in, and he wants to go back to those. Think of it like a magnet. That draw is always wanting to draw him right back to the old behaviors. And when you're working on something like this, you end up having any behaviors, for that matter, that are ingrained, that are already there. You try to extinguish those behaviors, and that draw back to it like a magnet, being pulled back to that old behavior set, is really hard to get rid of. It's hard to have it stop doing it. I look at it as a scratch and a record for that reason, that the record needle wants to draw back to that same scratch, and you polish that scratch out the best you can, and you try to make it so that needle doesn't want to draw back to that same scratch that's in the record. And that's kind of the same way it is with behaviors. Those behaviors want to rekindle, and then that needle wants to draw back to that same behavior set and to fall back into that groove. So it's hard work. And at this point right now, I've decided that because of the dog's propensity for heavy aggression, I mean, it's no play around. He comes right back at that fence and he wants to kill you. Same thing if he goes into a kennel. These are his two main spots, and I've already had a couple episodes with him where I've had to be pretty severe in a correction, and he's in the muzzle, and I've had to be very dominant with him. And there's no other way really to deal with it if you're going to win, because these behaviors, I call it rehearsing. When the dog rehearses this aggression, the same thing with any type of a reactivity. The dog goes through and starts rehearsing these behaviors again and again. These behaviors, just like ball drive, just like hunt drive, these are very natural instinctive behaviors for a dog. So because of that, they end up being self-perpetuating, meaning they grow in magnitude and they get more intense and they get more established. And the aggression is a lot like that. It gets more intense, it gets more established, and that's why reactivity is such a problem. And in this case, we've got an aggression that flashes at certain key points. Well, if I let this behavior keep going, it's only going to get worse, and I'm not going to solve the problem, and it's harder to fix. So you have to take a point where you say, okay, now I have to do what I've got to do, and you go to extreme measures. For you guys that are out there that are dog trainers, you know what I'm talking about. It's a severe correction, and we correct the dog and we dominate the dog, and we stay on it. And now I've got to stay on this, and I got to drive through. So every day I'm coming to do something in these areas that have the propensity. So what I did first day was on the placemat. He went off on me and he got a good correction. Then I went and said, okay, we're already here, so let's go ahead and put him in the kennel. He dives right back into his kennel, but he spins and he wants to kill you. And so I corrected him pretty severely for that one, and we went through our episodes, and I went to go take him out in the backyard, and he went and did the same thing again. Aero, good boy, yep. So now what I'm going to do is I've let him have a day of rest yesterday, and we went back to bonding because he has a lot of areas that he's really good in. And we went and tried to be a little bit easier on him, take him out to the park like we're doing now. And so I've decided now we're going to go ahead and keep on him. So I put him in the muzzle, and I'm going to leave him in this muzzle for 3 days straight. And I'm going to end up going in, and I'm going to have that door at the kennel door be our challenge spot. Going to correct him pretty severely for it, and I'm going to start making him realize he can't do anything to me in that kennel, in the muzzle. To start, we're going to end up just walking in and let him be stupid and let him wear himself out. I won't correct him at all. I just try to ignore the behavior, walk in, let him beat the hell out of me with that muzzle, and until he gets so tired that he just kind of tires out. Then I'll get a chair, I might sit in there for a while, and I might do a lot of walking in and out, closing the door, taking off, coming back in, that kind of thing, and just making him realize he can't really hurt me, and try to go to the bonding side of things. Try to get him to take some hot dogs because he's hungry. I've gone back to rationing again and reduced his food intake, and we're going to keep driving through. Realize when we do this, it's only with an animal that is like this that you don't want to kill, because think about it, it's the needle's the only answer for him after me, because a dog like this is going to end up hurting somebody. I'm not going to let him go to somebody else and have him maul somebody else and have that on my conscience. It's my responsibility. So I've taken that responsibility on. So there's only one way of doing things in this regards, because the dog is such a stout, very dominant animal, and you don't get that often because of breed propensities with breeding. etc. You don't see this that often. This is bloodlines coming over from Europe. These dogs have been bred to be on the street, have more tenacity, and the handlers, the trainers, understand the breed. So they'd never let a dog get to this position where he would spin out. That's what I call this. If you take a dog when he's young and you mold and make sure you're paying attention, you don't let these behaviors set in, and the dog never gets to this point. When the dog gets to this point, it's because he hasn't been handled right, and now it's on the backside of it, and it's a severe type of situation where you don't have any other choice but then to drive through, fix the problem. I will take the dog down, and then I will build the dog back up. In the end, it's about him respecting me, and I respect him. And so that's what I'm trying to teach him. And knowing that the only answer for him is to kill him. And I do not want to do that. I don't want to have to put the dog down. And it's the one thing that's making me, because he's such a magnificent dog. He's got so many good traits. And it's very sad. It tears me up, to be honest with you. Because if I can't fix him, it's the only choice. And I don't want to do that. Good boy. And he's not showing it here. He shows it in other areas. So it's a Jekyll and Hyde type of thing. He's got to learn he can't do that to me in those areas. No. Good. Couché. Good. So right now we're just teaching him. He wants to go out and play ball on the field. And I can't do that because that brings up that aggression. So the ball play has been taken away from him. And I'm severely limiting him. But I want to keep a bond action. And that's what this walk is in the morning. And I do a lot of this work. And he learns that he's got to comply with my wishes, and I'm building on that bond. And then we'll get to those other areas. Mainly he flashes in two main areas, real heavy. The kennel at the door, in a crate, same thing. And those are very dangerous areas because you're trying to close that door and a dog comes at you with such a fierce aggression. And if you let him have it, in my opinion, in this case, and not all dogs are the same way. I've got another trainer that told me that he wouldn't challenge him in those areas and he would let him have that. No, quiet. He would, no, quiet. He would let him have those areas. No. And I disagree in this case because this dog has got such a propensity for dominance. If I let him dominate me there, that's going to outlet into other areas and I'm going to have a problem. My whole point is that I need to take it away from him, period, and totally dominate him, saying that I'm the boss and he's not allowed to show me any aggressive tendencies whatsoever. And I'm not correcting him now because this isn't aggressive tendency. This is excitement. So, all right, I'll let you guys go. I thank you very much and you have a good day. Bye-bye. Come on, Aero, let's go.